Hi, this is Dale Nelson, and I'm here to introduce to you the StairLok system. Whether you're a trained professional or this is the first set of stairs you've ever built, you'll love what the StairLok system has done to make building a set of stairs straightforward, understandable, safe, and strong. Now let's look at the 4 steps to building a set of stairs with the StairLok system. First, we explain how to easily figure the height or rise of each step for your project. Second, we prepare the stringers or the sides of the stairs. Third, we prepare the treads themselves. Fourth is our final installation. We put it all together. So our first step is to figure out the total stair rise. This is the distance from the top of the deck down to the ground where the stairs are going to end. What we'll do is go to where we think the stairs are going to end, come over to that point, take our tape measure, hold it up like this, and just look at where it's roughly going to be. I've got 60 inches right here. What we're going to do is take that 60 inches and divide it by 7 3/4, which would be the rise of each step. Now that 7 3/4, if we divide the 60 by 7 3/4 of an inch, we get 7.74 inches. Now we'll round that up to 8. What that's going to tell us is that we're going to have actually 8 steps or 8 rises in our set of stairs here. Our last step is actually the deck itself. So we're going to have 7 treads here. And so what we'll do is we'll take the steps themselves, or the treads, are going to be 11 inches wide. So if we take our 7 and multiply it times 11, that'll tell us that our stairs will come out exactly at 77 inches, which is at this point right here. Now we know where they end precisely. So what we're going to do is I'll take a straight edge. I'm using a straight 2x4. I come over to the mark here, and I'm going to figure out the height. This will start off being level. Once we've got that level there, I'll take my pen, mark the 2x4. So now I know exactly what my height is. So if I measure that height, what I come up with is 59 inches. Now we'll do our math to get the exact measurements we need for our height on the treads. So to get the length of the stringers themselves, what we'll do is we'll take our 7 rises, or 7 treads, multiply that times 14 inches, and what that comes up with is 98 inches. Then we add an additional 6 inches, and that comes up with 104. Now 104 inches is 8 foot 8 inches, so the material that we're going to use, since they come in 2 foot increments, will be 10 foot. So you can use a 2x10, 2x12, or other piece of timber, but when you do it, you want to make sure you put the crown up, and then we start with the template. The template that comes with the StairLok system gives us everything we need for the top, bottom, and every stair in between. If you look here, we've got a pivot point, this corner right here where the arrow's at. And then on this side, we've got the actual height of our stairs. So we'll start down here on our pivot point, make sure that's flush, and then we bring this up so that the 7 3/8 is right on the edge. Next thing we're going to do is mark this front edge right here. And these 2 points right here, which are for the screws, which I'll explain in a little bit. Now, we also know our height is 7 3/8, so right here we come down to 7 3/8, put this mark, and then put this mark right here. We also want to mark the top where that's at, because that's where our next place we're going to pivot off of is. One thing we normally do that makes it easy for us here in the shop is we take a punch and we'll actually put a mark there where those are going to be instead of with a pencil. Then we take the edge of the template, connect the dots across here, like so. Now if you look, that gives us the bottom of our stairs. We'll go to the next one, go off our pivot point, come up there, do a punch on each one of those, put a mark on the top. Then we repeat that process till we get to the end of the stringer. And then at the end, where it says here, top of stringer cut, what we're going to do is mark this straight down here and measure down 1 inch, because that's the thickness of the decking. So we'll come down 1 inch, mark that. Now that we've got the first stringer done, we've got our left side done, we need to do the other side. So we'll take our stringer, move it over, and the next stringer we'll put right up against there. And exactly where we had those marks, we're going to transpose those over to the other board. So now that we've got the marks all done on here, what we want to make sure that we take the template, flip it over so we have a mirror image, so we have 2 sides that are for each side, not 2 of the same ones. I take and put this on the exact same place here, on that pivot point. I'll do the same thing, mark down here, mark across here on the bottom, mark where the screws go here. And then I continue that process the same as we did on the other one. So now that we've got everything all marked out, we just cut our ends on the lines that we've put on. So we'll cut those out and then we'll get on to the next step. Now that we've got the stringers all cut, what we're going to do is put in the set screws for the treads themselves. These are an 1¼ inch number 10 screw. What we'll do is we're going to put these in the holes that we set with the punch. We also want to make sure that we put these at a little bit of an angle, because the treads themselves will actually slide down right on top of that. So we'll go along both the stringers and put all the screws in. And we leave those out about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Now that our stringers are done, we need to prepare the tread frames so that our treads are ready to go onto the stringers. The actual tread material, or the decking material that we use, we need to cut those, 2 of them for each tread, or for each stair, so that we can put those all together. Now, the StairLok system comes with a standard width of either 36 or 45 inch. We're doing a 45 inch. It's very important to make sure that when you cut the decking itself, that it's exactly that dimension. If you get those off, a lot of times what's going to happen, it just doesn't look good when it's actually installed. So what I'll do is I'll take my 2x4, and I've already screwed this down. I'll take a square and take, and on one end, square that up and put these screws in. Then what I'm going to do is make sure I've got the tread part, the part that you're going to see down, because we're working on the underside. Put that in there, and then take the next one. Now, just like on your deck, you put space in between the treads themselves, or between the decking material, and ours is 3/16 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is mark that, or put that on there, measure that out, mark the back of this. I'll take this piece, going right up against there, so I've got a place to hold that, and screw this down. Then I go on this end, put this up tight against there. Not too tight, because we do need to take it out. Now I have a frame, and no matter what treads I put in, I'm always going to get the spacing right. So when you actually purchase the StairLok tread frame, this is what you get. And it comes with all your fasteners here. Now what we'll do is take this upside down, and we'll center it on our little frame. So once that's centered, what I'm going to do is, they've got a hole right in the middle. I'll line that up with my space. And then on these treads here, I'm just going to go straight down in. So once all the holes are filled in, your step's done. So we'll do all the steps we need, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is we're going to be putting the whole thing together. So now that we've got the stair treads all put together, the stringers are all done, it's time for our final assembly. So first thing we're going to do is lay out our stringers on the ground, and I just put those at 45 inches wide so we can set the treads in there. Now we want to mark where the actual stairs are going to go. So I've measured the width here, and what I'll do is take and put a mark with a pencil and a square on each side. And I know that's where the stringers are actually going to fasten in. Now the next thing is once I lift this up, I need to make sure that I can actually fasten it in. So I'm going to pre-drill a couple screw holes, then I'll start the screws in there. So that's all prepared. Once I have it lifted up, all I have to do is screw those right into place. Now that's just a temporary fastening system. Most of the time there's different ways to fasten them on there. One of the most common is people take a piece of construction strapping, fasten it on the back, bring it up underneath the stringer and fasten it in that way. Now we're going to move to the bottom step. We're going to take our tread and hang that over the set screws that we already put in and pivot down into place. It's really important to make sure that the bottom step is in first and completely fastened, because once the steps are up, you can't get your drill underneath to fasten the screws in tightly. So we've got that in. I just installed this one up. It's the first step down from the top, and I just put one screw in there because we don't want that to slide out. But the next thing we're going to do is just take the stairs, lift them up, and put in our set screws. So now our stringers are in place, and we're going to do the easy part. We're going to set each one of our treads in place one at a time on the set screws that we have here, and then we'll come back and fill in all the screws underneath once they're all in place. Our StairLok system is now complete. You can see we have a strong, rigid set of stairs that's attractive and will last for years to come. I'm Dale Nelson, and this is how the StairLok system works.